There comes a point in every man's evolution where closeness becomes dangerous. You start noticing that the more accessible you are, the less you're respected. The more you explain, the more you're questioned. So you begin to pull back, not out of pride, but out of necessity. Machiavelli understood this early. Familiarity breeds contempt. Distance preserves reverence. Because the moment you stop being available, people start valuing your presence. They study your silences. They measure your attention like currency. Detachment, then, isn't avoidance. It's architecture. You're designing space between yourself and the world so that what you give has weight again. It's not that you love less. You simply refuse to love without boundaries. That distance you create, that's your fortress. And every fortress has a price. To become untouchable is to accept a certain kind of solitude. Because detachment doesn't just protect you from harm. It isolates you from belonging. The crowd celebrates your strength, but no longer reaches for your hand. They admire your silence, but they no longer know your voice. That's the hidden cost. When you rise above chaos, you lose the warmth of noise. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must be feared and loved, but he knew, deep down, that fear lasts longer. Fear preserves order. Love demands access, and you can't be both available and sovereign. So, the higher you climb, the fewer people you can bring with you. Because altitude kills comfort. They'll say you've changed. They're right. You traded connection for clarity, and that's a deal few can stomach. Every bond costs energy. Every explanation costs focus. Every reaction costs control. The untouchable man counts these things like gold. He knows the most expensive habit in the world is caring too loudly about what doesn't serve him. Machiavelli studied this economy of power. The rulers who lasted were those who spent emotion wisely, never in public, rarely in panic. He wrote that emotion is to influence what blood is to the body, vital in circulation, fatal in excess. So you begin to conserve. You feel everything, but you reveal nothing. You choose your silences the way others choose weapons. And slowly, you become unreadable. Not because you're empty, but because you've learned that privacy is protection. Every mystery you keep adds a new layer of gravity to your presence. That's the law of detachment. Preserve emotion to preserve influence. When you detach, people reveal their dependency. They'll accuse you of being distant, cold, arrogant, because your calm threatens their chaos. They needed you reactive to feel in control. They needed your availability to feel important. But Machiavelli knew, greater than men love at their convenience, but they respect at yours. The untouchable man stops being convenient. He becomes constant. He doesn't adjust his peace to match others' storms. He doesn't negotiate his silence to comfort noise. And so, the dependent begin to fade. They seek softer souls, easier to reach, easier to use. Let them. Because your detachment isn't rejection, it's filtration. The wrong ones leave because they can't feed on distance. The right ones stay because they understand it. That's how solitude becomes sovereignty, when absence no longer feels like loss, but like protection. When you stop reacting, the world assumes you've stopped caring. They'll say you've grown cold, that your silence is pride, that your distance means emptiness. But what they don't understand is that peace has a sound, and it's quiet. You've simply stopped explaining your calm to those who profit from your chaos. You've learned that not every silence is empty. Some are full of decisions. Machiavelli wrote that perception is the battlefield of rulers. You can't control what people think of you, but you can control what they get to see. So you let them misread your stillness. You let them project their fears into your silence, because misinterpretation in the hands of the wise becomes armor. The untouchable man doesn't argue his peace. He embodies it until the noise wears itself out. There's a price for needing no one, and it's heavier than most imagine. When you become the calm others lean on, you start to forget what it feels like to lean. You carry your storms quietly, because who would you trust with the weather of your mind? Machiavelli warned that power isolates by design. A ruler cannot fully be comforted because comfort softens vigilance. So you build walls out of logic, roofs out of silence, and windows only wide enough to watch the world without being touched by it. It's safe, it's efficient, it's also lonely. But solitude, for the disciplined, becomes refinement. It teaches you to listen deeper, to need less, to belong only where your peace is mirrored. And though it costs warmth, it buys something rarer: clarity. Here's the paradox. The more detached you become, the more magnetic you appear. Because people crave what they can't easily reach. They confuse your restraint with mystery, your silence with wisdom, your absence with depth. And though you never asked for followers, influence forms around you, naturally. Machiavelli saw this pattern in kings and generals alike. Those who seemed least invested in approval were the ones most obeyed. It's not a trick, it's physics. Energy always flows toward the steady. You've become that still point, the calm that bends the orbit of others. But remember, sultan of your own gravity, if you start performing your silence, you lose its power. Authority exists only when it's authentic. Stay detached not to appear strong, but because you truly are. There will come a day when you realize how much you've given up to remain untouchable. The crowds that once cheered now whisper from a distance. The warmth of connection has turned into the luxury of solitude. But look closer. You're not missing anything. You've simply outgrown the need to be owned. Machiavelli would tell you, the cost of sovereignty is isolation, but the reward is peace no one can take. Detachment isn't escape, it's evolution. It's the moment you stop seeking validation and start emanating certainty. You walk differently now, not faster, not louder, but lighter, because you carry nothing that isn't yours. That's the true price of being untouchable. You lose the noise, but gain the kind of silence that bends empires. So stand tall in that stillness, not above others, beyond their reach, and let the world keep guessing how someone so quiet commands so much gravity.